Passion our purpose, profit our pain. I don't want my name to ever be in vain. A life full of substance is the only thing that will remain the same. Millennial thoughts. Welcome back to another episode of Millennial Thoughts with your girl Alicia. I am back with another episode, another interview. Today I am featuring my girl Joyce. Say
Hi.
hi. We'll be talking about relocating, the same old, tips, different things. Well, it's not the same because it's a different person, but we're keeping on with the series. And yeah, I am so glad that she is able to join us and to chat about her relocation. You
Yeah,
know,
I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me on.
yes, you're welcome. So my first question is, where did you move to? From where?
So I moved to Baltimore, Maryland, closer to the end of this year, and I moved from Louisville, Kentucky.
Okay. Yes. And how long of a drive? Did you drive from
Uh,
Louisville to Baltimore?
yes, I I did. I want to say I regrettably did, but it was a new experience. You know what? I'm grateful for it now. Yes,
So we know you don't like to be on the road.
I Yeah, say it's situational. It's situational. Like if I was road tripping, then of course. But moving, all the events leading up to it, I was so tired,
Mm,
girl. Like I was
yeah.
beat up. And then I had to the drive ended up being I think it was like 9 hours or really close to 9 hours. So
But then it's
yeah,
like everything you have to do, like you gotta pack before it and stuff like that, so it can just be like
exactly.
tiring.
Exactly. Yep. And
Okay.
packing for me. I'm a procrastinator, so it took 4 days. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I had it planned out like a month in advance, kind of take it easy so that way, the moving is seamless, but I put it off to the last minute and I did it in 4 days, girl.
I was like, well, 4 days sounds like a lot of time, but I guess when you're like under the pressure to get everything done, it's different.
Right, right. And when I started, I didn't realize how much stuff I had because I was in a two bed, two bath, with me and my sister. And I was just,
Hmm
when you look around, you're like, oh, I can get this done like a day and a half. It won't be bad, girl.
You be like, okay, how much do I really have?
Right. Each room took literally a day to itself. Like the kitchen was a full day's work because we were packing,
Oh,
cleaning at the same time. So that was a full day's work. The bathrooms was a full day's work. Living room, bedrooms. Yeah.
yes. Did y'all have any help with packing or no?
With packing, no, it was just us. But with loading the moving truck, we did hire some movers.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, put some extra time. I'm like, oh goodness. I'm like dreading. Like, I don't have that much stuff, and I see how much stuff I have. I'm like, dang, and I still got more stuff. Ooh, child.
Right, right.
Mm-mm. So my next question is, what made you move? And then like, I guess what made you move to Baltimore?
Ooh, those are two really good questions. So what made me move? All right, so I guess I'll preface this by saying that I moved to Louisville originally for undergrad, right? So that was around
hmm
2016, and I finished in 2020, and that was the time that the pandemic had hit. And so
Pandemic graduate. Hey, girl.
let me tell you, one of the few still standing strong.
Okay.
But yeah, when the pandemic hit, it felt like forever, and to me, it was almost like time stopped. So I was just in this city, I was feeling like I've done everything in this city. I've seen, what I'm saying? Because Louisville is a relatively big city, but it's also small at the same time, compared to some of the major cities around the US. So,
Mhm.
after the pandemic, it was like 2 years later, I was just working, wasn't really getting fulfillment. And so, my sister and I started like exploring what our next steps would be. And so we were just, it included us travel to different cities, just YouTubing, looking at other people's experiences. And ultimately, the move came down to me wanting something new,
Mhm.
wanting to experience a new environment, and then also wanting to see what the next stage of my life would look like. Because at that time I was just like, I think I'm done with Louisville. I'm no longer seeing any fulfillment or feeling any fulfillment. I'm not seeing any new ventures. And that's not speaking to the city, that's speaking to myself. So to answer
Okay.
your first question, I outgrew that city and I was ready for my next stage in life. Um,
Oh, that's really cool. Like, so you just knew you outgrew the city because you're like, I went to school here, I did this here, so yeah.
exactly, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And then, undergrad, that's like a whole chapter in my life too. So I was just like, I've closed this chapter. Right. Shade, no shade.
My
I've
girl was ready to go. Okay.
Yes. I was like, I've closed this chapter. I just want something new. And
Hmm.
I couldn't identify what that new thing was, but it came to be just literally moving to a new environment. And so that's what led me to Baltimore. I had a few cities in mind. And, the deciding factors came down to, my income and then the cost of living of the city, and then how lively, the city was. Because I didn't want to move to no small town. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to
You
live
want
it
to
up
live
in my
life.
20s. um, so it was that. So I explored a few cities, and then Baltimore just felt like I would have security, and I'll also have that new coming of age, or the new maturity, the new self-exploration. It's a city that's pretty big in terms of population, but it's also like growing. People my age achieving new business ventures. I feel like it's booming economically, and there's a lot of growth in the city. So that's why I
Cause
moved.
I'm like, Joyce, I'm about to have to call you out because, girl, we went and visited that city. We was like, no, ma'am.
Right. Okay. So that's look.
We
Listen.
was like, no, ma'am. If y'all didn't know, Joyce,
Yeah.
we
When I
went
have,
to.
I will. Okay. I will be honest. When I first visited Baltimore, immediately I was like, no. I was like, cute, but no. It is just not for me. And I don't know. I'm always somebody that just trusts my instincts. But then I took a road trip before I moved here with my sister, and I was just like,
Mhm.
okay, okay, let me get out of my la la land that I was in, because I was probably comparing it to New York City. You know what I'm saying? Just young, wanting to be on the go. So
You don't feel like
yeah,
Baltimore's on the go?
at first um at first impression, no, I did not feel that way. But the
Yeah, I feel like it
second
was really slow, actually.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I was like, this is slow. This reminds me too much of Louisville. But the second time that I came, I actually explored more of the cultural side and the living side of
Yeah,
it.
so
Right,
we
so I was
wasn't exploring the right spots.
probably right. I was trying to be a tourist. I was trying to be a
Oh,
tourist, and it wasn't given. Yep.
okay. Okay, let me not try to be no tourist. Yeah. So
Right.
funny thing is, yeah, we went and visited, but we was like honestly in a lot of different cities. It was honestly just too much at one time.
It was. It was too much at one time, because we went here, then we went to Philly,
Yeah, then we went to
DC.
DC.
We was we was some
So
tour.
yeah. So then you went back and you're like, okay, I can see the living side of this.
Right, right. I was like, I could
Okay.
see the living side of it. And then my deciding factors when it came down to income versus cost of living, I was like,
Oh yeah, I was like, how did you figure that out? Not to get too much in your business, but you didn't sound like you moved for a job, so you sound like you already had a job. So it sounds like your job is remote.
yes,
So,
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I love,
so
I
did
love a
you
remote
like
job.
what'd you say?
I say, yeah, I love a remote job.
So did you like calculate like how much you made in Louisville or something like that? Like how did you do that estimate? Like, okay, if I have a remote job, like you just calculate like how much the rent was or something like that to know like if you'll be comfortable or not?
Yes, I did. I did a lot of Google research. And so, there's so many websites about cost of living calculators, where it'll literally take your income versus the average cost of living in, whatever city you want to, and then you compare and contrast. So,
Mhm.
it'll be like, okay, so from living in Louisville with your income, there'll be like a 2% increase in rent and a 5% decrease in groceries. So I'm just like, okay, this is
And I'm
a
like, what the
real
heck does that
breakdown that I
mean?
need.
Shoot. I
Yeah,
use that too though. Did you use Nerd Wallet?
I did. I used a few different sites, but Nerd Wallet was one of them.
Okay, yeah, no free promo, but I'm just playing.
Right.
But
Not an
yeah,
app.
okay. I mentioned that before. That's why I was asking though. But okay, so you did that. So now you feel like you're comfortable. You said like you just moved there. So I feel like this is a hard question, but you can kind of answer it in a way because your reason of moving was to just try to find something new, try to like explore how you said you like your young adult life after graduation. So do you feel like the reason you moved has worked out? Like do you feel like you like your new city even though you've only been there for a little bit?
For sure. For sure. I am like I'll say I'm like a 92% of certainty. And the reason
Oh,
it's 92, right? It's so specific. But
okay, what's that 8%?
the 8% is because with my remote job, I don't know, I'm kind of in a unique situation because I travel for work. And so within these, like, I think I've been here like 2.5 months. Within these 2.5 months, I've only been in the city like half of the time. So
Mm.
like every time that I'm going out to explore, granted it's only been like two months and some change, I feel like there's so much to see, so much to explore. And I'm leaving space
Mhm.
for growth. I'm leaving space for exploration and self discovery. So it's a
Mhm.
92% because it feels like, yes, I'm on the right path. But then that 8% is like, I haven't seen it all yet. I don't have that end result to be like, ooh, yeah, this is the new me. You know what I'm saying? New year, new city, new me. You know what I'm saying? On to
Mhm.
bigger, better things. I'm not quite there yet, but I do see the potential.
Oh, okay, okay. So you kind of answered this next question, but you're adjusted to your new city, like like where grocery stores are, like where to go shopping and stuff like that. But you haven't like really like settled in and like built your community, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
And that community part, I'm glad you mentioned that. That definitely plays a huge part in that, that 8% that's missing. Because
Mhm.
so far I've only really been with my sister and then a friend of ours from college. And so I'm just, moving to a new city where you don't really know people like that,
Mhm.
it's difficult to find, a group of friends or
Yeah.
scenery that you want to be in to build that community that, I'm saying, that aligns with your identities or who you want to be, what have you.
Do you think that's so ironic that like one of our friends from college lives up there too now?
Yeah, I was just like, what a coincidence. Like, what an interesting turn of events.
Yeah, I
Because
accepted it.
I didn't even know that, they moved here until probably like 2 weeks ago.
Mhm.
So I was just like, oh my gosh, yes, let's hang out, let's connect, because
Mhm.
that's part of me building my community.
Mhm.
So thankful to have her because she's real cool.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
my girl.
Yes.
um, she even told me she's like my something is hiring. Like this is hiring. This is hiring. Everybody over here talking about some. Well, not Joyce, but the other girls are like, you should come to Baltimore. You should come to Maryland. I'm like,
You
what? Do y'all know how expensive
should.
that is?
It's not as bad as you might think.
Mm,
That's what I'll say. It's
we'll
not
leave
as
that
bad
for
as you might.
later in the conversation. We'll talk about the money.
Yes, yes, yes.
Because it's looking like crazy numbers to me. Okay. Uh, so I'm
Yeah, I
like,
was
I
I
don't even
was
know.
definitely feeling that way when I was on, like, the nerd wallets and all those other websites. I was like, ooh, not too much, because
Okay.
the rents, I'm
The
saying.
rent is crazy. And then
Yeah.
I don't even feel like we're spoiled. I really think it's sad, but I'm like, that's even me moving to Atlanta. Like coming from the Midwest, like we like, what's these prices are, what's this price? And then we like, what? What are these prices? What are these prices? Like,
Mm-hmm.
what
Yeah.
is this? Okay. And so I know that you're like still saying that you've been in your community, but do you feel like you would have moved if you didn't move with your sister? Like, do you feel like this would still be a cool place, or do you like that you and your sister like kind of move together? Y'all are kind of exploring a new city. Well, when you're there, because you said that you're not always in town.
I definitely would have moved without my sister because it was something that I was thinking about independent of her.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just so happened that, the stars aligned for us to come together and be like,
Not the stars.
I'm telling you, the stars align because look, splitting rent in Baltimore is the way to go.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I can if I can't afford. I don't have no sister, so I need to be able to afford a one bedroom. And the way the prices are looking up there, baby, who
But
child?
I'm telling you, sis, like you can do it. Now, I don't know how much you make. I'm not gonna get
I was
you in
like, do
your
you got a job
business,
for me?
but like it's manageable because it's only really rent that's like high. The other
Uh,
things like groceries, even like lifestyle things, the shopping, going out,
it's not
exploring
expensive.
self-care things, those prices are, I'll say, around the average price of how it is in the Midwest. So in
Okay,
a
I see what you're saying.
way, in an odd way, it like balances out because it's not like like in New York or like a San Francisco where literally every single thing is like double the price.
Well,
That's
no, New York. Well, no, they say it's cheap to eat in New York and stuff like that. It's just expensive for rent. But San Francisco might be double the price. I don't know. I've never been there before.
oh yeah, I have to look at that data, but as far
Yeah,
as
they
I
said like
know,
New York is really only like literally the apartment and like housing because like you can take the subway, the trains. There's corner stores and stuff like that.
mm-hmm.
So it's kind of cheaper.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what they say. I don't really know. No, we gonna see. I just think it's too expensive for me up in the New York in northern area, so I don't know what I'm going to do. But this is episode is not about me. This episode is about Joyce. So what was I gonna say? Okay, so how long do you feel like it's gonna take for you to kind of like build your community and set up? I know you said you like travel a lot, kind of too. Do you feel like you build communities where you travel and stuff like that, or do you kind of just like go to work and just like I guess go home, but not really go home because like you're working from out of town.
um So for that, I would say when I work, I don't focus on building communities. Because when I do travel for work, I work very strenuous hours and also odd
Mhm.
hours. So what I'm saying, I do make an effort to go out, see what the city's like, explore, whether it be the nightlife or certain tourist attractions or whatever the city or town is known for, but I don't focus on building a community because I'm often there for anywhere from a couple days to like 6 months. And 6 months sounds like a long time, but it's not what's the word I'm looking for?
Like
It's
consistent.
not a regular schedule. Yeah, it's not
Mhm.
consistent enough for me to be like, oh, I should focus on building a community here, or I should, look to build these relationships here.
Mhm.
In terms of relationships, I might just relate it to my coworkers, where I'll be like, oh, we both work for this company. Hey, why don't we go out for dinner tonight? If we do become like work friends or what have you, I'll be like, oh, let's check out this event together. So
Mhm.
there's that sort of community, but specific to the city, no, I don't really look to build a community there.
Okay, without giving out like your location mainly, I know you be traveling around the city, boop bop bop. What has been your favorite city, like just in general, like that you feel like you would relocate to, possibly maybe if it wasn't Baltimore, like a city that you visited, maybe that you like that you worked in.
That is a great question. I would say, okay, I'll take it to the state level because what I'm saying, I like to explore, what I'm saying, travel to different cities. So somewhere
Man,
between Pennsylvania and Texas.
Pennsylvania and Texas.
Yeah, so that's two very different cities and two different very states and regions. But I would say those because those are the states that I enjoyed the most, and I was able to go to different cities um,
Mm.
within those states. I didn't
What do you
say,
like about Pennsylvania? I've never heard anybody say they like Pennsylvania.
well, there's Philly. You gotta
Yeah, I
love
love
Philly.
Philly, but like
And
Pittsburgh.
Pennsylvania, it gives me personally, it gives me like a balance between city life and also that suburban rural area. So it's very similar
Mm.
to Kentucky, where I spent most of my life. So I feel like if I were to live there, I could get lit, but also like build or buy a home there.
Mhm.
Like I could see myself living there because there's that balance. I could, what I'm saying, get that quiet living, but also I can like live out my 20s and enjoy it and have a good time. And it's a central location to other major cities around too. So
Okay. My girl trying to get lit, y'all. Okay,
I'm trying to get
period.
lit. My
Okay.
25th is coming up, so I'm doing it big.
I am weak. And I think we're going to the same place for our birthdays next year. That's really interesting.
What? We got to combine the trip, make a
Yes.
one big trip.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to go to London for my birthday. I thought your sister told you. I
Yeah,
don't know
let's do
if
it.
she told you. Yeah, I'm trying to go to London. But then, okay, if I go to if I go to London for your birthday, then I'm like, well, what the heck am I gonna do for my birthday? Our birthdays
We
are like
could
3
listen.
months apart.
Listen, we could extend the trip, you know what I'm saying? So
I'm
we
weak.
can go to the UK for mine, start off at the north, and then for yours, we
Yeah.
finish off in the south. You dig?
Yeah, I'm crying. You so crazy. Yeah, we got to figure out. I gotta see what we gonna do. But yeah, that is really interesting. My next question was going to be, what do you think the most important factor is when it comes to moving?
Ooh, okay. I would say the most important factor in moving is knowing why you're moving, right?
Hmm.
And you don't always have to have a reason. Like if you don't, you could still, what I'm saying, thrive in any new city you move to. But knowing why you're moving will kind of block out all of those things of like the overthinking is what I like to call it. The Did I move for the right reason? Like what was I thinking? Or was this career it's not panning out? Or why am I not happy? Why is this? Because those are very real thoughts with moving. So when you know why you're moving, like for me, I said that I really wanted to basically grow and self-explore, right?
Hmm.
So when I'm here in Baltimore and I start to like beat myself up over like, oh, I'm not exploring it as much, I'm barely here, or I'm not finding my community, I'm just like, but what about me? You know what I'm saying? I'm here to self explore, I'm here to grow. What are those things looking like for me? And then I can be like, you know what, man, I do feel more comfortable dressing in myself, you know what I'm saying, dressing in my like my fashion sense and just going out in the city and walking confidently because other people are also themselves around here. Or I feel like, you know what, man, this is a growing opportunity for me because I just made a big girl move and I'm out here on my own and I'm winning. I'm surviving.
Period.
You know what I'm saying? I am okay. So like
Hmm.
it blocks out of those like self-doubt or any sort of negativity or any sort of mental health issues that, you know what I'm saying, might be bogging you down or burden you because those are very real things when you move to a new city. So it's like knowing your why and focusing on that, focusing on yourself and knowing that you made the right decision and this is a new place where you can thrive and achieve those goals that you like set for yourself. And you
Hmm.
can make a new life here, build your own community or a new community here. You can start over or you can continue your old life, whatever works for you is still possible. So you know what I'm saying? All that outside stuff, all that rah rah rah. Just focus on you. Focus on why you did it, why you moved, and you'll be all right.
Not the rah rah rah. What's the fashion looking like up there in Baltimore? They be wearing crazy stuff.
Nah, but it's a little bit of everything. You see a little bit of everything. Let me tell you.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I went to a Christmas village
Oh
sort
yeah.
of thing, which is I guess you can think of it kind of like a fair, but it was the theme was, like German food, and they had all
Mm.
sorts of different activities. Like there was like break dancing and fashion
Mm.
shows, rides for the kids. There were parks, different attractions. And so when I was there, like I saw people who were wearing the most conservative clothes to the most revealing. I was a little bit cold and I was confused why they were wearing so many revealing clothes. You know what I'm saying? But I was like,
But
if
y'all know
it
how cold
floats
it is
your
up in
boat,
Baltimore, baby. It is freezing.
it is freezing. And we was by the water, so I was just like, okay.
Ooh,
I mean,
okay.
if you like it, I love it. I
Right,
guess.
they must be used to it. Be like, baby, I need a colder
Right.
jacket. I need gloves.
Right, right. But I saw all sorts of different people. Like people are wearing more like grunge clothes. Some people are wearing like the hip hop scene. Some people had, what I'm saying, that traditional dad outfits on. But the thing about me is I wasn't wearing anything that was like too far of like the normal spectrum. But I was like, no matter what I feel like I was wearing here, I wouldn't feel like a bunch of people are staring at me or I feel like an outcast. Whereas I
Mm-hmm.
might have felt that, in some places in Kentucky. But here I was just like, I
Mm.
could literally be who I want, what I want, and
Yeah,
I'll have a
nobody
good
knows
time.
you.
Nobody knows you, and nobody really
Mm-hmm.
gives a heck. I don't know, cuss, but I
Thank
don't
you
know what
for
that.
that.
I don't know if you want that, but nobody really cares.
Okay. So, do you miss Kentucky? Do you, or maybe not Kentucky? Maybe I should say, do you miss Louisville or like your family? Like, do you feel like you get homesick and stuff like that?
Honestly, not really. But it's still pretty early on because it's only been like 2 months, and
Mm-hmm.
also barely here too.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's why I
um,
was saying homesick in general because I know you travel a lot for your job. So I'm like, oh, do you miss like your family or something like that? Like when you go different places, like like, or not really? You're
yeah,
getting used to it now.
yeah, I do. I miss, what I'm saying. I miss my mom's cooking. I miss just like chilling at home with my parents, just like, what I'm saying, doing the things that we do, and the convenience of just having that, just to, what I'm saying, just drive like 45 minutes to go home,
Mm-hmm.
kick it with them, go back. I
Now you got to
do
drive
miss
10
that
hours.
convenience, right? Now I gotta book a flight or,
Mm,
what I'm saying, or drive
okay.
9 hours home. But I mean, I don't know. It hasn't quite hit me just yet, but
Mhm.
I do miss that convenience, I would say.
Okay, okay. So now we're gonna get into the money, okay?
Okay.
Without saying your salary, I like to do ranges and stuff like that. What do you think, since you were talking about you did like Nerd Wallet and stuff like that, if someone wanted to move to Baltimore, what do you think they should be like making, or like what do you think they could be comfortable in a range that you think someone could live?
Ooh, okay, okay. Um, I would
Because
say
we know
like
Joyce
at
is a big
minimum,
baller out here.
child, not yet. I'm trying to get there. I'm trying to get there.
I'm trying to tell you.
Don't gas me up. Oh, let's see. I would say at minimum, you
Hmm.
could probably live comfortably in that like 40K range. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, hmm,
That's minimum. Obviously, anything above that, you
you could be
could,
good.
what I'm saying, live out your lifestyle however you like. But at minimum, to live like comfortably, meaning like, what I'm saying, being able to pay your rent, food, gas, all the life necessities,
You
plus
need to at least make 40K.
yeah, and have a little bit of cushion. I would say 40K.
Okay. Them not the numbers that I seen, but that's interesting.
That's
Um,
just based off my research and some conversations with the city people. Listen,
okay, because the city people
I'm
know
gonna
where to
tell
live. The
you,
outsiders don't know where to live. Shoot.
they don't. But let me tell you, when I get in them Ubers and them lifts, I be
Hmm.
having the most like down to earth conversation with the drivers because they give
Hmm.
it to me straight. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? They tell me their life stories, their come up stories, what have you, and I'm just kind of picking their brains, and I've come to the conclusion like you could survive off of 40, give or
Mm.
yeah.
Do you know if Baltimore is a big transplant city?
What's
Like a
that
lot.
mean?
Means that people are moving there a lot.
That I don't know. I haven't really looked into the research for that. I
Okay,
can't
okay.
say.
Or even like talking to people. That's what I was wondering. Because as soon as people start moving, then like the prices go up and stuff like that. So that's what I was asking.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I do know that there has been a general rent increase nationwide. So,
Yeah.
you got to take that into account too.
Yeah, it's so horrible. It needs to be decreasing.
Man.
But I know you. So I know you, of course, live with your sister. But how much do you think? Or I don't know when you're doing your research, you could give me a 2 bedroom, but or like a 1 bedroom. Like, how much is it on average, like a month for a 2 bedroom? Or if you want to do it in 1 bedroom, you could do it that way.
I would say for a 2 bedroom, it's probably around the 1700 to 2K range.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Mhm.
And I've also noticed that the area that you rent in also plays a really big factor into the rent. So, like downtown Baltimore, you know what I'm saying? All those, for the most part, the rent average would probably be like 1,800, possibly two
Mhm.
thousand, depending on the amenities, parking, and all that. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? But if you branch out a little bit, still within the city, but away from downtown, it ranges, for a 2 bed.
Okay. Okay. I see what you're saying. And you might know this answer, you might not know this answer, but if you could give a ballpark of like how much did it cost for you to relocate? And like since you didn't really relocate for a job and stuff like that, like you probably couldn't ask your job for relocation. So did you like save up money to relocate? Did you already know that you was relocating? Like how did you know what to save up and like how much did you have to spend?
So that whole of like since the beginning of 2022, I've been saving up to move, right? I didn't have
Okay, period.
I didn't have a specific city set, but I knew that I would be moving. And so when it came down to it, I would say personally on moving, let me think. Between the moving truck, the movers, first month deposit.
Okay.
Let's
The
see,
stuff
let me
is
see.
calculated.
Talking about gas to move because I took a whole U-Haul in my car.
Mm,
Um,
my girl been driving.
I would say it was like $1,500.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Not
it's
that bad.
doable, but mind you, I was searching for the lowest cost options, okay? Because I was just like, let's keep this as low as possible. Um,
I'm crying.
yeah, yeah,
Not as low as possible.
yeah. But that was my portion. Now, mind you, I was moving with one other person, so we split
Mhm.
everything down the middle. So
Yeah,
my
that's
portion was
good.
1,500.
Hmm.
So
So if you double it, you would say like about 3,000, but that's also with like two people.
yes, ma'am.
So like one person.
Mhm.
Okay, okay. And so when you were thinking about the city that you moved to, when you were thinking about apartments, did you have any non-negotiables that you were like, oh, I cannot move in this apartment if it doesn't have blah blah blah, or like this city needs to have an airport? Did you think anything like that, or were you just open?
I was open, but when it came to the apartments, I was like, I had a list of non-negotiables.
Okay, let's hear them
So
if
the
you can
city,
remember them.
right? The city again. It was just I was like, it is what it is. But when it came to an apartment, I was like, the apartment it gotta have light fixtures in each bedroom, really each room, but definitely the bedroom.
Period. Because what is they don't want us to be seen in the living room? I'm confused.
Girl, I mean, like, what you want me to plug in? How many lamps in here just to
Okay,
see? Like,
like
come
natural light.
on.
What?
Yes. Yes. So it had to have light fixtures in the bedrooms. It had to have
Mm,
in unit washer dryer.
period.
It let's see. It had to have a microwave. Cause let me tell you, these new
Period.
apartments, they
They
have
don't come with
this thing
nothing.
with not having a microwave. And I'm just like,
What?
what is the reason? What was the reason? Like what?
Okay.
It
Shoot, if
makes
they
no
didn't have to give you a
sense.
stove and a fridge, you would be logging that too.
Right. Right. Like, come on now.
Mm-mm.
Um, so I had that let's see, non-negotiables. The rent couldn't be more than more than 1,200 a person. I
Mm.
guess more than 1,200 for me. How about that? And
You was like, I don't know about they pockets. I
right.
couldn't go over 1,200 though.
More than 1,200 for me. And what's another non-negotiable? The rooms had to be like a
A decent
fairly
size.
decent size.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because I did not want to live in no constricted spaces. So I'll say that.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Is there anything else on my list? It had to have parking. Whether it's
Period.
a parking lot, parking garage, designated parking, like it had to just be for the residents because I cannot be driving up and down the street looking for parking. No, ma'am. I
Okay,
will
park
not.
on the street, park, find a parking spot. No, I pay here to live here. You find
Right.
me a parking spot. Shoot.
Right.
I'm
Right.
crying. Okay, so you kind of like got all your non-negotiables.
Yeah. Yeah. And then another thing too, I'll say like crime.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Can't have no real high crime rate. So
How did you look into that?
Google. Google, and then also spending time in the area and around the apartment complexes that, you know what I'm saying, that I wanted to sign a lease with. So if I just take a look
Oh.
around,
Mhm.
right, right, if I just take a look around, I'm just like, this looks sketchy. There's too many like they know street lamps around here, or you know what
Okay.
I'm saying,
Oh,
like
because you did a
anybody can come
scouting
in
trip,
and out.
right?
What was that?
You did a scouting trip, correct?
Scouting trip. Yep, that's a good term for it. You
Yeah.
know,
How did that go? So that's when you came in a little bit, like earlier, right? And you like came and looked for an apartment, correct?
correct. So I came here, I'll say twice to look for an apartment.
Okay.
First time was really getting to the nitty gritty of it, exploring. And the second time was like, this is it. You know what I'm saying? Make a decision now or never.
I'm
Um,
crazy.
so thankfully I was able to make that decision. But yeah, yep,
Do you suggest people do scouting trips?
100%. 100%. 100%. Because let me tell you, anybody can take a good picture and slap it on a website. You know what I'm saying? Or can pick up a phone and tell you all the great things about it. But you got to go see it for yourself if you can. You know what I'm saying? Explore the area, talk to the people, do your research.
Mm.
Maybe like stay in the area if you can. You know what I'm saying? Get a hotel nearby, something, do drive around it, you know what I'm saying, park in the parking lot, but definitely see it for yourself and make that decision for yourself.
Oh, so what did y'all do? Did y'all? How did y'all find y'all apartment? Did y'all look online? Did y'all drive around and find it? Like, how did you scout your apartment?
Apartments.com.
Up- I mean, no, I
Apartments.com.
mean, like, but did you like drive around at night? Like, what did you do? That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, so we had a whole day set, you know what I'm saying, with different apartment complexes scheduled. And so
Mhm.
we drove around there during the day, and the ones that we had like really set our minds on, we came
Mhm.
by later that night. And so we're just like, okay, all right, this feels right, this looks right. You know what I'm saying? The price and everything. You know what I'm saying? This looks doable. So
Mm.
as a
Okay.
team,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? As a team, what do
So
we
y'all took 2 trips. Y'all was not playing, baby.
at all?
Add that to your budget because I know that was about a whoo child. That was some money.
Yeah, it all adds to it, but I mean, if you schedule it correctly, it's doable. So if you give yourself at least a day, if you know, if you have a ballpark of the area or a certain complex you want to stay at, it's doable. Or if you narrow, even if you narrow your list down to 5 places, like it's still doable. So you know what I'm saying, just budget and time, and obviously money to do it.
Mhm. Definitely understandable. So, I know that you moved from the Midwest to the East Coast. So this is just something funny, or something like cool, I think, to talk about. Did you like have any initial like culture shock when you first relocated?
Culture shock, not really.
Okay.
Not really. And you know what? I've been blessed enough to one live at different places because since, childhood to now, I've lived in different countries, different cities, different
Okay, girl,
and
flex.
also
Tell them where you're from.
shout out to GH, shout out to Ghana, West Africa. You know what I'm saying? Represent Ashanti tribe. We here. We here.
Period, y'all. She's Ghanaian. She wants y'all to know. Okay.
Facts. Um, but yeah, so like, and I've also, had the privilege of traveling to different cities and experiencing people. So, and I always
Mhm.
keep an open mind. So nothing is that much of a shock. Now, an adjustment, I will say, is
Mhm.
definitely an adjustment each place that I've been to, but a shock, not really.
Okay. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's good then. I'm gonna say because I have a couple culture shocks down here, so I'm just saying. I just gotta ask the people about the culture shocks. And as we are wrapping up, the last question that I have for you is, do you have any relocation advice or tips for the people?
Mm, okay. Tips or advice that I'll have is much like I've already said. You know what I'm saying? Do your research about the cities that you have in mind. And if you are able to travel to it as a tourist and then travel to it as a potential resident, if you're able to scout it out, if you're able to talk to the people, if you're even able to go to the local spots, you know what I'm saying, see what the nightlife is like, see what the job opportunities is like. You know what I'm saying? Definitely do that. So the remote and in-person research is invaluable in any situation that you go into. And always keep an open mind. That's all I would say. You know what I'm saying? Because when you keep an open mind, you're able to see all the hidden gems or all the opportunities that you could potentially be open to or that you can even evolve from. So keep an open mind, scout it out, do your research, and honestly, go wherever your passion leads you. You know what I'm saying? There'll be a lot of obstacles, but listen to your heart, listen to your dreams, your passions, your desires. Take a leap of faith, and you will be okay. No matter what happens, you will be okay. Have fun, live life.
Okay, Joyce and Royce. Okay,
That
with the
was off the
words of
top too. You
wisdom.
know what I'm saying? That was off the top.
I am crying. Okay, y'all. Well, y'all heard it from Joyce and Royce. Thank you so much for being a part. Thank you
Of
for dropping all
course.
your
Thank
gems.
you
Thank
for
you
having
for,
me.
yes, sharing your experience on relocating. I'm gonna have to bring her back because there's something else that we gotta talk about in another episode.
Ooh, I'm
But I'm
excited.
thinking about I'm doing like like an alternative living season. I think I want to do that.
Ooh.
Like people who live in like vans and people who live in cars and RVs and stuff like
Yes,
that. So
yes. I have a whole thing to talk about that, so I cannot wait. Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. So I think I'm gonna try to do that. Just different ways people are relocating, moving. Like we're adulting, we're just trying different things. So I definitely want to bring you back on that. Whenever I do that, now I feel like I gotta put it out there because I done said it now. But we'll see. But yeah, so don't forget, y'all. If you want to book a consultation with me, if you need help with relocating, picking out cities, figuring out different things like that, you can also get a free relocation expense tracker on the website. The links will be in the description. So just make sure that you check those out. Make sure you share it. Make sure you make sure you rate and leave a review on the podcast so we can keep on doing this thing. And I will talk to y'all next episode. Bye. Thank you so much, Joyce.
Thank you. Bye, y'all.